Know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:32. Take a look at this disclosure. You guys know the drill.
Every gambler knows.
All right. What up? What up? Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. We're here to go over the areas of the stock market, the levels, what we're looking at, what could be a catalyst, how to get involved without being a gambler, right? We go in ways calculated. We are meticulous because we do this for a living. We do this to create cash flow and a life for our family. We do this to save money for the future. We do this to pay for college, and we do this because we put the time in. Anyway, let me say hello to some of my friends around the world. Let's see if anyone's tuning in. I'll say hello. Well, we got a little Kenny Rogers. What up, Rolando? What up, Jose? What up, Jamie? What up, Beer Guy? We got William. We got Blair. What up? What up, Money? When you're sitting at the table. I'm like really dating myself. Anyway, last night I actually played poker with my son Chase. Even though I'm teaching him that gambling is an addiction and you're going to lose, but at least Texas Hold'em, you have a little bit of, discipline, a little patience, you know what to do. It's kind of cool playing for half an hour, hanging out instead of watching a show and being on the phone. But anyway, what up, Sarasota? What up, guys? What up, Mikey? All right, so what's going on here? Okay. Last Friday, which was just what's today? Today's Wednesday, when you had that overseas explosion and the futures are down 80 handles and it felt like a washout. That was a really good time to make some changes on all time frames. So on Friday, everyone's like, Red Dog, you're going to finally put the blood in the street account to work. So on Friday, for those of you that know me, know that we need to be 5 to 6% off the highs before we put the blood in the street account to work. So right here was the low, 49.53. I put it to work on the close, which was 49.76-ish, or a little bit lower than that. And what people do on the alpha team, like, oh, when Red Dog puts the blood in the street account to work, I could put money in my IRA, I could put money in my swing account, because usually we're oversold enough for about 100 handle bounce. And so far, we had that 100 handle bounce at least, and a little bit more. So if you model your swing account and put money to work because you don't trade as actively, then you reduce. I did not reduce the blood in the street account. Usually that tier stays in until we go to new highs, because it's not as active. But anyway, so nice move. Okay, then if you switch gears a little bit, first of all, here's 5,100 and then there's 5,150. So let's go to the SPYs. So on a different time frame, let's talk my swing account and my active account, thinking the same thing, that once we put, the blood in the street account to work, we usually get a 100 handle rally. I was in the cherry blossoms. I'm like, I think we can get to 505. So, into this move, we were buying the 499 calls for yesterday and today, and into this first move to 502. Those calls went from like $1 to $4, and then I rolled them up into the 502s. Sold some yesterday, created a call spread. Those went from $1.50 to $4. So it's nice when things work out. I wasn't so spread out. I also was in the queues. I was in a bunch of things, traded a few things, not thinking that I'm going to, be in crazy tech, this, that. So you don't have to be in everything to net money. That's what I tell everyone. You don't have to be in everything to net money. Okay. So where we are now, it is 636. And here we are. We had 506, which was the 50-day. So at this point, the SPYs are up 50 cents. They're 506.21. Tech is acting well. Texan is up. Tesla's up. Meta's up. We have Meta today with IBM and ServiceNow. But anyway, here's your next area. This, to me, like I'd say, is like the fast and easy bounce. Today I would think a little bit of back and forth ahead of Meta, and then obviously, depending on Meta, Amazon's next week. Google and Microsoft will be whether or not we get to this 509, 512. And then you also have the PCE on Friday. So I don't want to see some people like, Red Dog, I'm shorting today. This is it. We're going, I cannot go any higher. And if you start shorting today, And if Meta responds well and Microsoft and, what's it called? What's the third one? Google, we're going to keep going higher. And then if all of a sudden the PCE is lighter, you're going to be really upset when we're at 512. Doesn't mean this, this quadrant's going to be as easy as this quadrant, but, at this point, the blanket sellers didn't have enough power. How much is a handle? 100 handles is it's like S&P points, right? From 49.53 to 1,060. That's 7. It's like 10 plus points in the SPYs and 100 plus handles there. Now it gets harder. The oscillator was minus like 60 or minus 70 even on Friday, which is very oversold, and now we're like plus 6. So, at this point, people are, saying, what are we doing now with earnings? For me, I wound up taking at the end of the day Tesla, just a small call spread. Everyone's like, I feel like I stole something by being out of the way of Tesla for pretty much almost for the last year. Since last May, if you remember, last time we had a really awesome active sequence in Tesla was literally, this January of 23 all the way up until it peaked. And then, you had one more, and since then, out of the way. So I felt like, obviously the quarter wasn't great. He's pivoting to taxis, AI, or autonomous, blah, blah, blah. I think Elon said that if you're not driving an electric vehicle that has autonomous features, you're like on a horse and buggy. But anyway, so this is 160-ish. This 8 days 164. I thought maybe we could bounce, to 160 to 164 if it was a little better than feared. So if you look at the alpha team right here, which I don't have a whole lot going on now because we met my one objective. I played the 502 calls and I sold the 505s. So that wound up being a call spread. I did that pretty well. So my Tesla is 150 by 162.5. So I figured, hey, maybe I could, risk, it only costs 3, risk 3 to make 9. So if you do, 20 of them, you're risking $6,000 to make, 18 or 20, which wasn't bad. So anyway, if we opened a lot lower today and they missed and we were down, just say 15 points, I probably would have been a buyer of Tesla into this area. So it was just my way to play it. And it worked. They don't always work. And at this point, I actually, can't say it worked because it's 639. I'm in a call spread. We'll see how it goes. What I'll probably do is I might sell, some premium above on the open. I might sell some, 167-ishes just to make sure I lock in some premium above, and it wound up working. So that's good. 1 for 1 in earnings option land. Am I going to play Meta or am I going to play Amazon? Not Amazon, Google. It's a little different because if you look at Meta, okay, Meta is a lot of money hiding in Meta. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean, well, technically it still acts great. You look, I just showed you Tesla at the bottom of the range. Apple's been, a laggard, and then here you have, Meta, where, it's above the 50. It's into the 8 and 21 day. Here's 530. Meta's basically at, all-time highs. Here's Meta. Meta's been a great trade for a lot of people. I had one bad day in Meta last year that I still really pissed off about. But anyway, here is 532. If Meta is going to go up and Meta is going to lead and Meta is going to have a momentum move, here's your level. 532 is a big level. But again, look at the size of this move. Huge. So Meta is not going to go up if it has a bad report like Tesla. Tesla, was thrown out the window. So Meta is going to need, a really strong report, really strong guidance. So I'm probably not going to trade it just because I don't think the risk reward is there. But we'll see. If you look, so this will be interesting to see what it does. Google's the same way. Google, has a cup and handle 2-year pattern. Look at the size of the accumulation here. Everyone who's been accumulating, Google since 2021 thinks they're about to get paid. It's holding up. So both of these reports need to be super duper 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 solid with great guidance to take out those highs. And if that happens, chances are, the SPYs in my head are going to be back towards, this 5. First of all, this is actually the weekly chart. The SPYs should be back towards, here's your, 509 break, and here's like your 515. Okay. So far, decent sized move where, it's not really that feeble. But again, if you just look at, the chart of the weekly, all we're doing so far is coming back up, which makes sense to burn off the oscillator. And then here's your, this big spot that if the bears want to reject price at all, they don't let it get above this 509, 515. Otherwise, it turns into a bigger channel, and chances are we'll be at highs again. Some people everyone's like, Red Dog, do you think Friday's low is the low? We'll see. Do I think 524.61 is the high of the year? I don't think it's the high of the year. I would rather get up to this, 512, 515 area, and then kind of get rejected there. And then we could see some kind of packing and filling with then all of a sudden you're going to start hearing about the V's and the W's. If we go straight up to 509, 512, all of a sudden that's what you would call a V bottom, right? You have this, and then doesn't this look like a V? And then if all of a sudden this turns into, resistance, okay, let's just, do this like this, my fan, right here. Then do we come in and make a higher low and then go up, or do we then put in a W, or all the things that I've been doing for a gazillion years that give me these little fancy things, give me a little bit of a roadmap. But then so this would be a spot that would be really tough to get in through, I would think. Here's a minor spot, and this is another, and then if we come in, where do we come into to go again, or not? So but this is all forward looking. I am a little forward looking. What do you want to spot in? Spot was really good. Spot gave you guys a pro earnings gap, even though it came off. So it's come a long way. If you're in Spotify, make sure that you trade versus gap, because sometimes especially when sellers take over at the end of the day. I don't know why sellers took over at the end of the day when the day was strong, but anyway, it did. So just watch this pro earnings gap. Some people ask me about Texan. Texan to me is very interesting, because Texas Instruments, more if you look at the weekly chart, hasn't done anything. You have this descending channel here where you had AI semis go nuts. NVIDIA went, up a few 100%, even AMD before the debacle, Micron, some of these, this has done a whole lot of nothing. So granted, it wasn't the best of the best reports, but, if you get a gap up in Texan, which we are, right? Texan interest to, Texan is right now at 177. Okay. Texan is right here. This high, if it could stay above 178 and give you a pro earnings gap to trade against, that might be something you could stay with for a new swing trade, and that would probably be good for the semis. And this is not just AI semis. This is like phones and this and that. Anyway, so this is something worth watching and see where the gap holds, because if the gap can hold above here and it could stick above, chances are this could be something you could stick with for a while, back to at least this area and more. Like if you look at what NVIDIA has done, it's gone parabolic. Obviously, this has been the place to be, not Texan. So at this point, Texan doesn't have as much priced in. But let's go to the daily chart of NVIDIA, because NVIDIA, to me, I might be shorting. Yeah, Red Dog might be shorting today for a QT trade. Why? Because look where we're getting into. Okay, this was your easy bounce. Took 2 days to take back that entire down move, which makes sense. And now you have 839.50, and then you have 855. If you did not buy on the dip in this NVIDIA, for the last 2 sessions, and you're thinking about paying up today, then you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. No, I'm kidding. Then you better just check your process, because now we're at 841 in this zone. That probably will be a pause. Doesn't mean we're not, it's not going to be a leader. Doesn't mean later this year it might not get up at 974. I'm saying, but trading wise, if you're trading ranges and you're tactical, I haven't shorted yet, Alan. I haven't done anything yet. I'm talking to you guys at the 6:30 club. I'm chilling with you, having some iced coffee, just preparing myself, thinking about what I need to do with my Tesla call spread to maximize it. I maxed out my long play. I wanted to be long a lot of the market from Friday to 505-ish. We're now at 506 and change. So I don't just want to fade that. I want to figure it out. But this could be a spot that, you could pause. You could, sell into here, and then it might even come make a higher low and go again. I don't know, but just be careful. Space it out. If I do it, I'll space it out. It's not my favorite trade, to be honest. But with Netflix, by the way, Netflix actually, had the earnings report, got hit, did a red dog reversal. What's a red dog reversal? I'll show you. You guys know what a red dog reversal is. Red dog reversal is right here. Red dog reversal is it went below the post earnings low of 552, put a low in a 542. Surprisingly, actually, but the market also bounced, held this low. So this was your entry. This is a red dog reversal entry. Okay, I did not do it. I was not trading it. Equals RDR long. Okay, why is that? Because you had it calculated where it went below. And if it would have stayed below, it could have filled this gap and it could have been a freaking awesome short. What did it do? It reclaimed it. So it stopped out the sellers, got in long. So if you got out up here in the 600s, you were able to get back and get some follow through yesterday. And now all of a sudden, here's this gap. So what's Netflix doing this morning? Netflix is, down $1 and change, which is okay, I guess. And so if it can hold here, maybe there's a trade to fill this gap. But anyway, I haven't been that active in Netflix. It trades by appointment. There are better things out there. Goldman Sachs, Freddie. I'm glad you brought it up. Did you buy it? Monday in the 630 club with all of you. I was like, the banks are acting well. They sold Goldman, into the numbers because they were in the mood, but you have a wedge formation. Remember we talked about Mark Haynes and the wedgie? Well, the wedge formation was right here. Wound up having an awesome move for a lot of the people in the Alpha team. For you guys, it was tight. You could have bought 407s, 412s. And then even yesterday, I'm like, it's down $1. Let it digest a little bit, and chances are it clears. So that was your easy move. And then even Morgan Stanley caught up. Okay, Morgan Stanley probably gets above this 94 and change also. Okay, both of these were my power plays. Made good money there for guys, but I'm not in there right now because it came out with earnings, and I should have revisited. I just wasn't sure what the market was going to do. But anyway, AMD waking up. AMD's been very broken. Can AMD have a reflex move higher? It's already had a 2-day move higher, and it's probably opening up, and it's been rejected into this 8-day this entire time. So I guess see how it deals with that. AMD right now is at 154. I'd be a little careful with AMD. It's been so broken. There was some decent news that, Texan is kind of, not say similar, but decent news that China was buying some low-end chips. That's why I was up yesterday. But if it gets through this 155, then you have 158. This still I'd be cautious on. Every rally has been sold, but there's been some easier things out there. I'm not going to be playing Pepsi earnings. I'm sorry. Just doesn't really interest me. So anyway, listen, guys, got to know your time frame and you have to know your levels. This is me drawing ahead here. This is just, I did this off the cuff. Bottom line is, you broke 512. So if you reduced risk into that 2 weeks ago, you're able to, buy in the hole. And we did that on multiple time frames. I could always do better. I could always make more. I feel like I could have been more hyper-focused, but it's fine. You had your easy move right into resistance. So that's one spot where you allocate a certain amount of money. I took most of that off. Now we see, what happens if it could make it into this next quadrant, or who knows, maybe it peaks out here. Again, you have super crazy earnings coming up today and tomorrow. And then you even have the PCE, remember inflation. Okay, well, remember the TLTs? At this point, a lot of traders have been watching the TLTs, and I said the TLTs really don't become a problem again. First, it became a problem when it broke 92, is if we have 87.78. So as long as it doesn't break below that and rates don't go back above 4.6 or 4.8, it's not that much of a headwind. As far as gold and silver, if you remember, I called the top in gold and silver. Maybe you could buy a little bit in this dip, and I do think at some point Bitcoin starts waking up again. That bull flag turned into a really nice channel. And at some point, this channel that's been going sideways for a while probably clears to the upside. It didn't do exactly when we wanted it to. I wound up losing money trying to think it would get through here. But now, it just had an easy move from the bottom end of the range into supply. And maybe it starts getting above there. So that would be pretty good. Just if you're going to buy options, just pay a little bit more premium, go a little further out. It's a little easier that way. It's this way you're not so worried about the timing. And if you do trade this through, I would go with IBIT, not BITO. It just correlates a little bit better. All right, guys, listen, 6:51, April 24th. Oh, April 24th, my anniversary, 20 years I've been with my wife. It's been fun. My parents have been together for 56. I had a good weekend away, so today is not really anniversary day. It's our day, but I still got our flowers. We're playing actually Livingston today in lacrosse, so hopefully the boys, come out with a big win, and then we go out for dinner and we celebrate all together. Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, it's work. You got to mow your own lawn. If you forget about your own lawn, it gets brown and it gets weeds, and then you're looking at someone else's lawn, and then all of a sudden you're not, taking care of your own lawn, and then you're responsible for 2 lawns, and that's a lot of lawns to be responsible for. So taking care of your own lawn, keep it nice and green, put some flowers, and give it a lot of love. Just work on it, because marriage is work like everything else in life. It doesn't come that easy. As long as it's worth working for. Mine's been worth working for. I've known it for 30 years. Appreciate you guys. See you soon.